just a little. Take me along the way. Won't you visit? Won't you stop by to stay? I'm a better man with your love than without. In the sea, I may never make it out. And in the morning, I'm wondering how I'm gonna get through the night. I'm sick and weary. Only your love's gonna make it right. Only your love, only your love. 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 Only your love, only your
All right, we're back for another day. Hope everybody's doing well. Off to a good start. 1-0 to start the day. And yeah, let's do it again. Let's go get some cheese. And yeah, in the beginning here, I'm going to mostly stay in music mode and trading mode until we get a big enough group in the chat to engage with. But I'm really happy to start off. We already have 4 people in the room. It's really fun to get rolling right away. So welcome, and let's have a great day of trading. If you have any questions, just let me know in the comments. I'll come back and answer any questions that come up. Otherwise, yeah, let's share our successes. If anything's working for you that you want to share with the group, we always appreciate learning new stuff and growing as traders. So here we go, starting another day. Thanks for joining me.
Another day, another break in the promise was always a pattern of mine. It's the way that I learned that the game it was only a matter of time. And I pray that I don't have to pay for it yet, but I'm willing to gamble on a bet. I'm willing to forgive and forget. Say one thing to me and another and swear it's over the best. Cut out the toxic people telling me to give it a rest. I'm not too sensitive, you just don't have a heart. But I continue to enter the ringer while I'm falling apart. It's a habit I wanna break, like a thieving band, and it's on display. And you pull me in, I can't look away. Nothing matters, it's a pattern. Oh well, didn't mean to do it again, but I wasted my time. What the hell? Am I laughing or crying, or am I tiptoeing the line? So bad, didn't learn to be better and standing up for myself. Just telling people to go fuck themselves. Oh, it's a habit I wanna break, like a thieving band, and it's on display. And you pull me in, I can't look away. Nothing matters, it's a pattern. Oh, it's a habit I wanna break, like a thieving band, and it's on display. And you pull me in, I can't look away. Nothing matters, it's a pattern. Will I always be wasting my time? Feels like everyone's wasting my time. Will I get over it? Over the pattern. Don't think it's fair, then get in line. Not waiting to go on a green light. Stop digging for dirt in the gold mine. Just keeping up, just keeping my patterns. Just keeping up, just keeping the pattern. Just keeping up, keeping up. Oh, it's a habit I wanna break, like a thieving band, and it's on display. And you pull me in, I can't look away. Nothing matters, it's a pattern. Oh, it's a habit I wanna break, like a thieving band, and it's on display. And you pull me in, I can't look away. Nothing matters, it's a pattern. I don't know if I can find my way out. I'm stuck in a prison of doubt. In this delusion, and everything is growing up tight. There's no room to breathe. And nobody is watching at night. The water rises.
to shake me out again. Need a friend to shake me out again. I don't know if I can find my way out. In this and everything is growing up tight. Fall into the ocean. I'm reaching out, I'm reaching. The water is rising over me. The water is rising. It's coming. I'm reaching out, I'm reaching. The water is rising over me. The water is rising. I'm reaching. It's coming. I'm reaching. Water is rising over me. I'm reaching out, I'm reaching. It's coming. Water is rising over me. I'm reaching out, I'm reaching. It's coming.
You say you need your space, then pull me close. I read your silence, louder than most. One day you're warm, the next day you're cold. Got me second guessing what I already know. I give you love, but you ration yours. But you ration yours. You open up just to close the door. Just to close the door. I stay up late, trying to read your mind. I can't read your mind. But your love got rules that change all the time. Change all the time. Why are you always halfway in? Got me drowning when I know I could swim. If you love me, baby, say it with your chest. Yeah, tired of the maybes, I just want the yes. Don't play me like a song on a spin. If you ride for me, then ride to the end. Don't wanna love this paper thin. So why you always halfway in? Halfway in. You hit me up when the nights get slow, but then disappear when the highs get low. I ain't your maybe. Tell me what it is, 'cause I'm way too grown to be messing with a love like this. I give you love, but you ration yours. But you ration yours. You open up just to close the door. You stay closing doors. I stay up late, trying to read your mind. I can't read your mind. But your love got rules that change all the time. Changing all the time. Why are you always halfway in? Got me drowning when I know I could swim. If you love me, baby, say it with your chest. Yeah, tired of the maybes. babies, I just want the yes. Don't play me like a song on spin. If you ride for me, then ride to the end. Don't wanna love this paper thin. So why you always halfway in? Why you always halfway in? Got me drowning when I know I could swim. If you love me, baby, say it with your chest. Yeah, tired of the maybes, I just want the yes. Don't play me like a song on spin. If you ride for me, then ride to the end. Don't wanna love this paper thin. So why you always halfway in? Halfway in. I did it all, I played pretend. I moved the mountains to be your friend. I wanna know if it mattered. I would have gone to war for you. I would have bent the earth in two just to get to our ever after. Something about this has changed. I wanna feel you close again. Don't let go. No, I don't want this to end. Whoa. Remember the start when you're breaking my heart again. Like blood on a pen. Would it matter then? When everything starts to fade, I'm back like it's yesterday. Would it all consent? Would it matter then?
All right, the bot moves to 2-0 on the day. Good start. Hope you're doing well. Good to have Surge with us. And already got a lot of familiar names in the room, so appreciate you guys showing up so regularly for me. I really do appreciate it. So yeah, still in bot trading mode, will be for the whole week. That just means I'm testing a strategy and trying to behave as much like the bot as I can. So winner wallet for me. I'm following Blorp. Good old Bleep Blorp. Had a real solid day yesterday. The only thing I'm changing today is I'm going to go from the limit of 89 to 94. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. I think it'll be fine. It'll just allow me to get a few more, like, 25, 30 cent sure things, I think. So we'll see how that goes. If we get a couple failures at that, I mean, it would have failed at 89 as well. So we'll see. But yeah, so far the bot is doing well. And yeah, I think at this point, minimal tweaks would be necessary. So I'm looking forward to seeing how it does the rest of the week. Hopefully very well. So both Surge and I can get these bankrolls rolling up in the right direction. It's always good to follow Blorp. And yeah, what happened to your bankroll? How did you get down to zero? Surge, what happened? You weren't following Blorp, I'm guessing. Well, it's another beautiful day here in the Pacific Northwest, sunny, 70 degrees. And I am getting all kinds of alerts, like serious warnings about this winter. They call it Super El Nino or whatever. It's going to be some crazy storms coming through, they say, this winter. I keep getting alerts about it. So, shoot, I may go down to Arizona for the winter. Pack up the RV, throw the cats in, and head to the desert. But we'll see. I don't know. It may not be so bad here. Hey, Legrand, it's been a while. How you doing? Uh-oh, Serge got in trouble by following his emotions when trading. Oh no. Yeah, it's supposed to be bad storms. Well, it's good to see you. We've grown quite a bit. Yeah, we've grown quite a bit since I saw you last, and we're the crew is getting solidified. We got a bunch of people that are regulars now, so having fun, grinding out the wins, making a little bit of money, and growing a community. So it's good stuff, Legrand. And Legrand is, I would say, the original OG, the original G. So yeah, it's good to see him stop by and say hello. Yeah, Legrand was here when I had like less than 100 followers. I think we're pushing toward 500 fast. So, and you guys, you and HLG were like on me about talking more on the streams, and you were right. I have found a nice balance. I just talk half the time and trade the other half, but definitely people are more engaged when I'm talking. So, but yeah, how was life for you? What's going on? How's the trading going for you? You got any new strategies that are working well for you? For me, I am. Can you give me an overview on what you see on TradingView? What I see on TradingView right now is the ultimate kind of mid action. I see very little to inform the decision right now. Let's see, about 8 hours ago, we were down below the Bollinger Band, spiked really low below the Bollinger Band, and then went on a heater on the uptrend. That kind of petered out about 2 hours ago. Then we got a little downtrend, but now the market is kind of slowly working its way back up, but there's some resistance to this price right now. It's not, I would say in general, we're on a slight uptrend, but it's not strong at the moment. Yeah, so it's pretty mid. The order book is pretty chaotic, kind of moving around quite a bit on both sides. I'm actually really grateful for the two wins I got so far because both of them were kind of like iffy at moments. So yeah, it's a little chaotic, a little sideways right now. Not ideal for my strategy. My strategy, when it goes on that long run in one direction, I usually do really well. When it starts getting choppy, it gets a little bit more, iffy. So, but we're still 2-0 to start the day. We were 17-1-1 yesterday, one break even, and only one loss. So, it's a real solid day yesterday. I'm in bot training mode. I'm actually testing a bot strategy and trying to act exactly like the bot would. So I'm very regimented in what I'm doing right now. I can't get in until the 7-minute mark, and then it has to be at least 85 cents on one side for me to get in. Get in at like 86, 87, 88, 89, somewhere in there usually, and then 10-cent profit. And I will do a stop loss if it reaches 50 cents. And let's see, what else? Oh, and I have to get out at the 2-minute mark. And if I'm not in by the 2-minute mark, I can't get in. And I think I may adjust that to 3-minute mark. If I'm not in by the 3-minute mark, we're skipping. But if I do have a position, I have to get out by the 2-minute mark. So it just avoids any chaos at the end of the market if it's close. What used tools? Rudy, let me see here. I think you're asking what's on the screen. What are we looking at? We've got, obviously, Kalshi is on the board on the left. Then we've got the chart is from CoinMarketCap. It's using the TradingView chart, though. So we're basically looking at TradingView through CoinMarketCap. I do that because they don't have ads on CoinMarketCap, whereas TradingView will throw ads on the screen all the time. It makes it harder for me as a streamer. Anyway, the two indicators we have on the screen are Bollinger Bands and RSI. RSI stands for Relative Strength Index. And basically they tell us with those outer bands on both of them where the support and resistance are likely to be in real time as the market goes. So if we were to touch one of those lines, we would expect it to go in the other direction. RSI is kind of the same thing. The top line is 70. If it's above 70, it tends to want to come back down. If it's below 30, it wants to come back up. So that's what we're looking at on the chart. The white box is the real-time index for CF benchmarks. It's the price that Kalshi uses to create their graph. And the price on Kalshi most quickly reacts to the price in that white box. So that's the current price. That's real-time index, real-time average of all the exchanges. And then lastly is the order book for Coinbase that we're looking at through the site TapeSurf. So we're basically looking at what's happening in real time on the order book on one of the exchanges. And I'm about to go into trading mode. If you got additional questions, just put them in the comments, and I'll be back right after I trade this market.
No, no, no. We could catch a vibe here on this trip. I'm in your soul, you're on my head. I want you at my fingertips all night, all night. Love what you got on, but I want it all for you. We can play a song while I'm holding on to you. Rubbing in the hallway, no use for all the rules. What you wanna do? She told me, she said it's all for you. I did it all for you. Baby, it's all for you. No, no, no. Well, I know how you want it to seem, but we'll watch as it all plays out. From the crest of the wave that we broke upon and pulled you back into the sea, all the way down. Why'd it take all our life to explain that it's more beautiful when you're here? I remember
Well, I chipped my tooth on a tangerine, and the jaybird singing something about the way things used to be. Now I'm dancing on a wire like a cheap paper tiger, strumming on a heartstring stereo to a song that no one knows, and it goes like this. Hey, hey, yeah, said it goes like this. Say la vie, oh, don't ask me, 'cause it goes like this. Yeah. So I pack my bags and I'm on my way. And all my friends are upside down, but
Yeah, according to the updated bot rules, I have to get in before 3 minutes, and it was like at 3:05 that it got to 86 cents, and I was like, no, I don't want to be in this market. Slight loss, yeah, just because I had to get out at the 2 minute mark. That's the rule that I have for the bot right now. So yeah, I mean, I'll take the very slight, basically a break even. I'll call that one, just to like not be a part of that nonsense at the end. But yeah, I was watching that one the whole time, going, "Yikes, this is ugly. I don't like it." Yeah, small win is a good idea right there. Yeah, if I wasn't, executing like the bot, I would have just sat that out. But really focused on just executing exactly what I have as the strategy for the bot right now in manual mode. So my only job today is just to press the buttons at the right time, the right circumstances. So it's pretty stress-free trading. My only job is to make sure I track what's going on, and if we hit a threshold that I need to press a button, that's it. Basically acting like a bot in manual mode. So you semi-followed Blorp, yeah, but you got out when it went up. I got close to the take profit, but didn't quite do it. Now here, market's going absolutely batshit crazy now. Jesus, it is. It is highly volatile and close to the line, which is not a great combination. But I don't mind if it's chaotic and moves away significantly from the line. But yeah, the conditions are pretty rough at the moment. So Juan, I've programmed trading bots before with different strategies, and basically what I'm doing right now for the next week is taking my strategy and just trying to convert it over to be a system that the bot can trade, like just numbers, time, very specific. So the bot knows, do I get in now or do I not? It has to be, for a bot to do it, it has to be very regimented. You have to have very specific conditions so the bot doesn't bid at the wrong time. It bids only within a certain range. So for the next week, I'm taking my strategy and tweaking it and trying to find the parameters that I like for this trading bot I'm going to create this month sometime. So I'm just I'm in what I call bleep blorp mode. I've got the strategy. I know what the parameters are, and I'm just executing as a trader as if I was the bot. So that's what you hear us talking about. Is I'm kind of in bot testing mode, in manual mode right now. So That's what we're talking about. It's basically just taking the strategy I did in that 18-minute video, 18-minute video I just did, and just trying to, make it very rigid so a bot can trade the strategy. And I'm testing to see, is it profitable, and also, where I can tweak the numbers to make it work ideally for how. Basically, I want the bot to trade how I would trade, and I want to kind of codify that. I want to find what the code is for how I trade the strategy. So that's basically my job here in the next week or so. All right, cool. Well, welcome, Juan. Good to see you. We've got a nice little community here of kind and very supportive folks. And we're dedicated to learning more about trading in general and predictive markets, and just having a good time, learning some stuff, and creating kind of a mellow, chill vibe to hang out and have some company while you're trading predictive markets, especially the Bitcoin 15, which is my preferred market to trade. So welcome to all of you who might be lurking in the chat. Another great day for trading. It's a little volatile. It's a little chaotic at the moment. And basically, I want to just explain real quick what the bot mode is today. So I'm not allowed to get in until the 7-minute mark. When it hits 7, I can press buttons. I can't do anything until the 7-minute mark except talk to you. And so that's what I do. At about the 8-minute mark, I shut off the mic and go into trading mode. So at 7 minutes, I can get in, but the price has to be 85 cents or higher. If it is, I have to bid. I'm bidding at 94 cents, but that will basically just give me the best price available under 94 cents. So it will very often be, somewhere between 80, 85, more likely 86, and 90 will be a lot of the bids today. And then all I'm doing is setting a take profit for 10 cents above that, and getting ready to do a stop loss at 20 cents, because that's my threshold. If it goes below that, I don't want to have a take profit. I just want to let it ride out. But I'm hitting that 20-cent stop loss when it gets to 50 cents. And again, it's the same thing as when I bid. I'm selling at 20 cents, but I'm saying to Kalshi, I want to get the best price above 20 cents. So since my threshold is 50, my stop loss will very often be 50 to 40, somewhere in that range. So that limits my big losses, especially in a market that's as chaotic as this one is right now. It's important to have a stop loss. The only other rule is if I'm not already in by the 3-minute mark, I have to sit out. And if I'm in, I have to leave the market at the 2-minute mark. So that's the complete kind of programming of how the bot functions. And my only job today is to execute that strategy in manual mode. So that's what you'll see me doing. Very predictable. What lock in? Well, we're almost there, but yes, Serge, I'll lock in.
Remember me, said you'd be my heart's home. Guess you were biding your turn to go. Oh, I really should've known. Be with enemy till we hit a red light. Then I see the signs. Oh, after all I
machine, putting on in me. But was that even for? Was you playing your games? Was you really bored? No. I really should've known. Be with anyway till we hit a red light. Didn't see the signs. Oh, after all that time, this is it for us. You don't wanna try. Thought your love was real, but it never was. No, you can't decide. Oh, after all this time, this is it for us. After all this time, this is it for us. After all this time, this is it for us. Oh, I really should've known. Be with anyway till we hit a red light. Didn't see the side. Oh, after all that time, this is it for us. You don't wanna try. Thought your love was real, but it never was. No, you can't decide. Oh, after all this time, this is it for us. Porch light flicker on the siding, moths dancing like they know the tune. Porch light flicker on the siding, moths dancing like they know the tune. Every breath feels borrowed, but tonight the world's in tune. Old chair hums beneath me, playing boards keep the time. Old chair hums beneath me, playing boards keep the time. If this sound ain't perfect, that's how it's mine. Someone left the radio humming low next door. Someone left the radio humming low next door. Static sings the harmony. I couldn't ask for more. Let the porch light burn uneven. Let the shadows play. Yeah, the porch light burn uneven. Keep the night from drifting away. If this ain't heaven, it'll do for today.
From the moment I got in on that one, I was like, oh, I don't like this at all. Yeah, these conditions are pretty rough for this strategy. And so now the question, this is a great opportunity for me to think about, okay, so I would not have gotten in manually, like as myself on that market, because it just was like too iffy. I would have just held out and see what happened. But the bot has to trade because that's what the rules are, right? So I need to come up with I need to codify how to say to the bot, it's too volatile right now, and it's not far enough away from the strike, So I need to come up with some kind of an algorithm, a formula that like the bot can calculate how much volatility there is and can just sit out. Just say, well, I got to skip this one because the market is just too volatile. And if it's like that, the strategy doesn't work. So that's I think that's my final thing to figure out. And I don't have an answer for that yet, but I think that's where my focus is. And the main thing I need to figure out, I may work with AI on figuring that out because we may have to run some statistical analysis to come up with a strategy for that. But basically, I want to figure out a way to code so that the bot knows, okay, this is too dangerous. You know, this could go either way, and it doesn't really work, you know, for this strategy. So I know it can be done because I instinctually look at them like that market, and I'm like, oh, this is yucky. This is terrible, you know. And that's kind of where we're at in general right now. So I don't have an answer yet about, you know, what the formula would be to say, okay, I got to stay out of this. But once we have that figured out, that'll be helpful for us in manual mode as well. Yeah, diabolical. How profitable is bro doing this? He asked twice. When I stick to this, regardless of the conditions of the market, I am profitable. How profitable just depends on how much I'm scaling my numbers. Right now, I'm just in kind of practice mode for the bot I'm building. So I'm only doing 5 contracts at a time. So I am profitable, but it's small amounts right now because I'm just testing a bot strategy. So like I lost on that one, but because I'm using the bot, the current version of the bot that I'm like programming, it got in a position I would not have gotten in at. So I'm taking the loss, I'm taking the L as a bot because I'm just testing a bot strategy. So, and when I lose like that, and I would not have gotten in on that market personally, that gives me some feedback about, oh, okay, I need to come up with something that like will keep the bot from trading that market because that was diabolical, that was brutal. Like, do not want to be involved in that kind of market. So, yeah, I absolutely agree. It's a good strategy under the right conditions. At this moment, not the right conditions. So let's talk about what might have a better chance of doing well in these conditions that are highly volatile and moving up and down, crossing the line. Let's see how often we've crossed the line here in the last 15 minutes or so. Well, it's pretty steady down, but let's see the last hour. Yeah, I mean, pretty choppy, up and down, right around a midpoint. So what you can do in these situations, this is my kind of secondary preferred strategy, which is less risky in these conditions, is buy the first side to go below 40. You know, buy it within the first 2 minutes of the market. So we could do that basically right now, somewhere around 40. And then just try to scalp 10 cents. If you want to be more daring, you can do a higher number. But that I think is a smart strategy for when the market is like this, because you're you're likely to get at some point over the 12, 13, 14 minutes that you've got that position, you're likely to get at least one moment where it moves close enough to the line that you get your 50 cents, you know. What I tend to do with this strategy is wait until I'm pretty sure that it's kind of bottomed out, at least the first movement has kind of ended and is starting to move back. That's usually when I get in on this strategy. So I'm not going to trade this strategy because it's not what I'm training my bot to do. But I could have a comprehensive bot strategy where when the market conditions are bad for my strategy, it switches over to this one. That's pretty complicated and, you know, makes it a little bit more difficult to predict what's going to happen. But we can just kind of see how this would go for this one. Just mark that at some point we bought down at 40, you know, somewhere in the 40s. So we're losing that position right now, but we don't have to do a stop loss on that so quickly. We can just kind of let it ride, and we've got a lot of time. We didn't invest that much on that, you know, we're in at 40 cents instead of 85 or 86 or 90 or whatever. So it's a less risky position. We only have to win, let's say if we're doing 40, 60, like we get in at 40 and we sell at 60, we only have to win twice to cover one loss. So there's something to be said for this strategy just holding to the end or taking profit at 90 cents so that the amount of times you have to win with it are less than, you know, 50-50. So I hope that if that makes sense, that's an important thing to understand. Is like you want to do your take profit on your strategy enough that it makes sense based on how often you win with that strategy. So if I'm winning 50-50, my wins have to balance out my losses at least to be break even. So I need to be winning at least 51% of the time to make a 50-50 strategy work. So keep that in mind. Looking more and more like our 40-cent position might be in trouble, but keep in mind it's much less stressful than having, you know, 90 cents per share and just kind of white knuckling it to the end. You know, there's not as much stress in this strategy in this kind of market, because if it goes crazy, it's to your benefit. You know, if this were to drop out of the sky right now, and you know that very well could happen, you're out, you're done. You know, and when you get in at 40, it can flip in the first 30 seconds. You know, and you're done. Like you got your profit, you're out. So it is another strategy that I like. I think is legitimate, and but I'm going to lock in on my current strategy now and get ready to trade this market.
Pain, long stretches. I get to remember it. Then I see my bed is empty on one side. Back in the sheet, the only place I can hide. In the morning, I'm wondering how I'm gonna get through the night. Sick and weary up at the door. I'm a better man with your love than without. Stuck in the cell, I may never make it out. In the morning, I'm wondering how I'm gonna get through the night. Sick and weary, only your love's gonna make it right. Yeah, only your love, only your love. Only your love, only your love. Just a little, take me along the way. Won't you visit? Won't you stop by to stay? I'm a better man with your love than without. In the cell, I may never make it out. And in the morning, I'm wondering how I'm gonna get through the night. I'm sick and weary, only your love's gonna make it right. Yeah, only your love, only your love. 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 Only your love, only your
Can't wait to wake to your love in the morning. This simple thing that we do. Breathe in, breathe out with you. You stopped to tell me just one more time before we start the day. Easy with you. Yes, it's so easy with you.
So yeah, one thing I would say, do not copy trade me right now. Uh, that it worked out well, that one, but that's a lot of risk. I'm mostly just testing a bot in certain like parameters if it's going to be successful without me having to be at the controls and override any bad decisions. So, yeah, I highly encourage you to not copy trade the bot when it's volatile like this. Hey, country, how's it going? Everyone in green from the overnight. Um, I'm slightly down today, slightly, but not much. I think the bot is 3-1 to start the day here. Um, so yeah, but it has been a wild ride so far today, and even though it didn't work on that one, just start to notice if it stays like this, if it stays volatile and crossing the line. Just note if you get in at the first side to go low, like so the losing side to start in the first minute or two, just see how often that one would have gotten you 20 cents of profit or would have won, Maybe even just make a little, get out a piece of paper and a pencil and like start to write it down. Like, okay, that's called paper trading. You're not risking any money. You're just seeing if a strategy would work and testing it on a piece of paper, So let's say just on a piece of paper, we're going to buy the low side that goes low in the first 2 minutes, right? And we'll try to wait until it kind of peaks on the other side, like when it first peaks and starts coming back at first, the first run. And just at that point, we'll get in. It'll probably be somewhere between 45 cents and 35, somewhere in there. And then just see, track, did it get 10 cents profit? Did it get 20 cents profit? Did it get 30? Did it win? If you can track those 4 categories, you can start to come up with a strategy of your own for when the conditions are like this. And, we as a community can test that and see, okay, when is it time to switch over to this strategy in volatile conditions? Because my strategy for taking the high side and scalping that 10 cents is very risky when the conditions are like this. So my job right now is to try to figure out how to program the bot to stay out of this market. Like, what would it take to say to the bot, hey, time to take a break, come back when it's more calm, But I have to come up with a formula for that. I can't just say, hey, just, if it gets crazy, just chill out, I can say that to a human being. They kind of can deduce what that means. But like a computer needs very specific numbers or a formula to follow to say, oh, well, I got to stay out of this. But yeah, I mean, again, for me, a win is a win is a win. That last one was a win. And, my strat, don't worry about the numbers with mine because I'm just doing 5 contracts right now while I test this strategy. So I'm just finding out if I do the same number of contracts every time, does it end up being profitable after a week? So that's what I'm up to over here. So I'm encouraging folks, do some paper trading right now. Let's say we get in on the down at 35 cents right now. Okay. So we're in on the down at 35 cents, and now we're tracking, is it going to hit 45? If it does, we can check the box that says 10 cent profit. If it hits 55, we can check the box that says 20 cents profit. And does it get 30 cents? Check, So we got no checks right now. There's our first check. So it hit went from 35 to 45. So we can check that box that says, okay, that would have won. And let's see if we get to 55 at any point. The higher you set your take profit in this strategy, the less you have to be right. Because basically you've only got 35 cents on the line. If you were to take profit at 35 cents, then all you have to do is 50-50 to break even. You only have to be right half the time. But you want to find that sweet spot where it hits enough that it covers your losses. So that's a challenging bit. And I think what I'm really trying to focus on is what's the line between my strategy of taking the end, the 10 cents at the end, works well, and when does it not, and when does it cross over to the buy low, sell at 10 or 15 or 20. I do like winning a lot psychologically. I like an 80% win rate. I like, that feels good. But then your main job is to limit your losses. So whatever strategy you come up with, the math just has to work out that the amount of times or the amount you're getting on your wins covers how often you lose, right? So it's just a math problem, really. And it's just figuring out, like, what are the conditions where this strategy works? What are the conditions where this strategy is terrible, fails miserably? That's one thing you can use AI really effectively for, is gathering data. Go into Claude and just be like, it'll be helpful if you can have a bot do this for you. So train a bot to, like, get the data that you need. But you just go into Cursor or Codex or Claude Code or whatever you want to use, and you just pay your whatever $20 a month or whatever it is for that site, and then just go in there and be like, hey, I want to figure this out. I want to figure out what's the best blah 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 for whatever, and say, hey, how should we study this? And AI will be like, well, probably the best way to go about that is to do this, and and he's like, okay, yeah, do that then. Like, I mean, you have to, like, double check the thinking, but it's usually pretty good about gathering data and analyzing data. AI is very good at that. Not always great at coming up with strategies, but it's really good at, like, doing crazy amounts of data gathering. I've had it run an analysis, a 4-year analysis of my strategy, going into Coinbase, pulling all the data for 4 years and running it all and kind of simulating my strategy within those 4 years. Really helpful work, like I could never do it. Like, it would take me years to complete that work. AI does it in like 1 minute, It's just like, yeah, I got the answer for you. Did a little crunching of the numbers. Like, okay, thanks, dude. Appreciate it. But AI is very good at those kind of tasks. And if you're building a bot or you're even just building a strategy, it's really helpful to back test the strategy and be like, okay, let's write this program to run all this data, and then you get the information back and you're like, oh, actually this would fail. This strategy would fail long term. Like, it would, or it tells you the opposite. It's like, yeah, if you stick with this, you will be profitable, like, based on this 4-year analysis of this market. Markets can change, but the bigger the run you get, the more reliable it is. So anyway, I do a lot of thinking about this stuff, and we have this great tool at our disposal. I got to shut up and trade. I'll see you later.
Change over time, change over chest, yeah. Tired of the maybes, I just want the yes. Don't play me like a song on the spin. If you ride for me, then ride to the end. Don't wanna love this paper thin. So why you always halfway in? Halfway in. You hit me up when the nights get slow, but then disappear when the highs get low. I ain't your maybe. Tell me what it is, 'cause I'm way too grown to be messing with a love like this. I give you love, but you ration yours. But you ration yours. You open up just to close the door. You stay closing doors. I stay up late trying to read your mind. I can't read your mind, but your love got rules that change all the time. Changing all the time. Why are you always halfway in? Got me drowning when I know I could swim. If you love me, baby, say it with your chest, yeah. Tired of the maybes, I just want the yes. Don't play me like a song on the spin. If you ride for me, then ride to the end. Don't wanna love this paper thin. So why you always halfway in? Halfway in. Why you always halfway in? Got me drowning when I know I could swim. If you love me, baby, say it with your chest, yeah. Tired of the maybes, I just want the yes. Don't play me like a song on the spin. If you ride for me, then ride to the end. Don't wanna love this paper thin. So why you always halfway in? Halfway in.
I did it all, I played pretend. I moved the mountains to be your friend. I wanna know if it mattered. I would have gone to war for you. I would have bent the earth in two just to get to our ever after. Something about this has changed. I wanna feel you close again. Don't let go. No, I don't want this to end. Whoa. Remember the start when you're breaking my heart again like blood on a pen. Would it matter then when everything starts to fade? I'm back like it's yesterday. I want it all full send. Would it matter then? I did it all, I pulled the weight on my shoulders like it was fate. Don't tell me it was for nothing. You told me love wasn't true 'cause it didn't feel real to a cynic like you. But I'm pretty sure we walked into something. Something about this has changed. I wanna feel you close again. Don't let go. No, I don't want this to end. Remember the start when you're breaking my heart again like blood on a pen. Would it matter then when everything starts to fade? I'm back like it's yesterday. I want it all full send. Would it matter then? Would it matter then? Would it matter then?
All right, even in these crazy conditions, the bot's doing okay. 4-1 on the day. Okay, the Man City says currently building an app where it makes trading decisions using Chat GPT. Well, that's interesting. I won't ask you to share any more about that because it sounds like you're trying to build an app for profit. So I won't ask you to reveal anything about that. What I encourage for this community is you want to build the bot yourself for yourself because you want it to think like you do and act like you do and you, believe it or not, have the ability to build a trading bot yourself. You're going to have to make a relatively small investment. You're going to have a VPN. You're going to have to, pay $6 a month to Vulture or some. That's what I did. $6 a month for my VPN. That's all it was. You're just going to have to pay a fee to some site like Cursor. I use Cursor. It worked great for me. But there's other ones out there. I'm not sponsored by anybody, so I'm just saying what I use. But yeah, I think it was $20 a month. I did that, and I had Claude. I like Claude the best out of the chatbots. So I had Claude paid subscription Pro. So I had Claude Pro and Cursor. So that was like $26 a month. I'm paying like $32 a month to run this bot. And I've got at my fingertips, I've got, a bot that's an AI that's trained to write code. And it is designed to chat with you about the process of writing that code and inform you about all the things that might go into it. So, I didn't know anything. I get into it and it's like, well, you need a Kalshi API. You need to be able to work with the system and be registered with the system as like, I'm like, okay, well, great. Let's do that then. Like, and it took me through the whole process of creating the API, getting set up, having my keys ready to go. And then got to set up the VPN. Told me, found the right price for what I'm trying to do. I don't need a lot of data. So like I can do this $6 a month thing. And I couldn't even find this plan. And AI was like, well, just look over here. They're kind of hiding it a little bit, but you can get it for $6 a month. And there it is, So if you know how to prompt AI in these things, you can create whatever you want. What I would say about all of these is whenever you create something, test it in demo mode, which is basically paper trading. It's a simulation. You're not actually trading money. And let it run for a while and come back and see where are the errors, where are the bugs, how's it working. And then I think the next step is to go live, trade with real money at small contracts, like one contract, and like see how it does there. And you've got to be like watching in live mode. So you're not going to run it blindly overnight. You're just checking to see that it's working. And then you can start like, letting it run overnight and run on its own. But the whole process is creating it, working out the bugs, testing it, working out the bugs, testing it, working out the bugs. And eventually you get to a point where you can trust it enough to like let it do its own thing. But that's a process that takes time. So yeah, and I highly recommend those in this community. If you're going to do that, build it yourself, you have all the skills necessary. And to be honest, if you learn that skill, I cannot think of any more important skill to have going forward in this world than to be able to create stuff with AI as your partner, coding stuff. Because, man, I think that's going to be so much of what we do is working with AI to like improve systems, test, run simulations, stuff like that. So anyway, I think it's worthwhile as a skill to build. And you're much more likely to have opportunities in the future economy, as far as I can foresee. The more you're able to create stuff with AI that is effective, and learn how to work out the bugs and learn how to test it and all that stuff, I think there'll be a big demand for people to be hired to do that for other people. So I sound like Rob. People always tell me I sound like somebody. What's up, Blessed? Yeah, I'm not Rob, but I get that a lot. I always sound like somebody. I'm just that old dude, you know, crotchety old dude living out in the woods. But yeah, so those are my complete and exhaustive thoughts on AI. I think it's creating trading bots is a lot of fun as long as you're patient with it and know that it's likely to be very buggy at first, and you got to just kind of work it out. And you kind of have to have a system where you keep the AI on the same page as you. As the conversation gets longer and longer and longer, the AI gets dumber and dumber and dumber because it compartmentalizes information in order to stay efficient. So I think they're getting better at that. They're increasing memory for these chatbots and for these coding bots, but it's still something to keep in mind that, you know, while you may think that the bot you're working with is right on the same page with you, then all of a sudden they'll say something that you're like, oh, what? Like, you know, you totally forgot what we're doing, you know. So just keep that all in mind. All right, I'm gonna get back into bot trading mode here. All right, let's see what we say here. Man City, Sol is a significant improvement model. 5.6. Sol is a significant improvement model. That 5.5 from what I can tell. Huh. Sol. Is that Chat GPT? I don't know. I don't use Chat GPT. I use Gemini for quick stuff and Claude for complicated thinking. I've had very good success with Claude, and I'm informed that the new Claude, the Super Pro Claude mode is like super impressive. So I mean, the only drawback with Claude is you better get to the point pretty fast because you'll run out of your daily allowance even in Pro mode pretty fast. So. Absolutely, country. You know, I'm solar powered with my Starlink out in the woods, off the grid. I collect rainwater and filter it for my. I'm like super self-sufficient, independent, and I can kind of do this live stream, for 6 to 8 hours a day, running off lithium-ion batteries. Just kind of chilling out in the woods. I could do this from anywhere. I could go down to Arizona this winter and just take all this stuff with me, and I'm good to go. It's amazing times we live in. You can do amazing things. It also, of course, increases the possibility of horrible things, but there is some great stuff. That's the freedom and the ability to do things on your own is so heightened right now. The ability to be independent and just kind of do your own thing. Yeah, never in human history has someone been able to live the way I'm living right now. Full access to the internet, just out in the middle of nowhere. Like, thanks again for sharing your time, knowledge with us, and for what you do. Well, I appreciate you, country. I'm glad to have you in this community, and yeah, I appreciate those who have gratitude in their life for the things that are around them that they appreciate. So I appreciate you. Coming right back at you. All right, I'm getting in trading mode. I'll be right back.
take all our life to explain that it's more beautiful when you're here. I remember the light when it turned around and revealed all the truth, no escape. Going play. Say it like it is this time for me to hear. Suddenly you felt all alone again, even in crowded rooms with all your friends. Where goes the time? All in front of you. Where goes the time? Still in front of you. Say it like it is this time for me to hear. Suddenly you felt all alone again, even in crowded rooms all around friends. Say it, it's unbreakable through it all and more. Don't fret now, I'm not leaving you alone. Won't leave you now or through later days. One, two, three, four.
Well, I chipped my tooth on a tangerine, and the jaybird singing something about the way things used to be. Now I'm dancing on a wire like a cheap paper tiger, strumming on a heartstring stereo to a song that no one knows, and it goes like this. Hey, hey, yeah, said it goes like this. Say la vie, oh, don't ask me, 'cause it goes like this. Yeah.
All right, another win. Little 5-1 on the day. I'd be spending 3 or 4 more markets trying to get back to break even. So I'm at above water now for the day, even with one loss. And yeah, that's the benefit of this strategy, waiting long enough to let the market kind of shake out all the chaos. And yeah, kind of waiting to get in when things seem pretty likely to end in a certain direction. And when they don't end in that direction, you just, without any emotion, just take the loss and move on. Like, it's going to happen. And the more you take a good loss, the better it feels. And the more you're like, the more you understand that the good loss is why you're profitable. And and so you kind of celebrate your willingness to stick to the system because you know that's the important part of it. So as we learned together, last night I tested the 7-minute entry time. I had most of my volume at the 7-minute mark, but also most of my losses. I'm testing 6 minutes now. I had no losses after 5-minute entry. Yeah, it's a really good point. There's something to be said for just waiting as long as possible. What I've found with 7-minute range is that I'm more likely to have that 10-cent profit, and I'm still going to win 90% of the time. And when I do lose, or it gets too close, I don't necessarily have to be in a losing position for it to be just too close. Yeah, I, don't lose as much. So the key is if you get in at 6 minutes, how much does your profit go down on average? And then is it worth it? So it's really just a math equation, and testing it out is great. If you find that doing this strategy, you do better at 6 minutes with profit and loss versus what I'm doing, I want to know for sure. That would be super helpful information. Because there's basically we want as little time left as possible to get our 10 cents. For me, that's all I want is get scalp 10 cents. So I just want as little time left as possible to do that without it being at the end helter-skelter craziness. That's where the stop loss almost becomes useless because it's just like if it flips to one side or the other side loses its value immediately. It goes to nothing. So small data set, only 12 trades, but just wondering how you set at 7 minutes. Just, it's myself and a number of other traders that use a similar strategy, kind of separate of each other, have all come up with somewhere between 8 and 7 minutes. You're halfway through the market. You've got a pretty good sense of what's going on in the market in that first 8 minutes or 7.5 minutes, whatever it is. So you've got some advantage about seeing where things are. And the high probability, keeps you out of close calls. But the 7 minute is, for whatever reason, is kind of the threshold where you can get in at a decent price to make some profit, and the likelihood of it reversing has diminished because you're a lot more, it's established where we are. You know what I mean? You're not guessing 50-50 guesses. So I don't know, just kind of where I've ended up just observing these markets for a year is kind of 7 minutes is like the happy place. But it could very well be that that 6 is better. Could be that 5 is better. So I'd love for you to continue to test that and let us know how it goes. Because it's one thing that's really important is to realize you don't know everything. You know what I mean? Like that, I don't know if that's better. That could be better. And I'm always happy to be proven wrong because that means I'm going to have a better strategy. You know what I mean? Like, I'm all for prove me wrong. Like, find something better. Like, I want to know what it is. This is what I've come up with, but doesn't mean it's the best thing, So, and I already know it's not the best thing in all conditions. So, today the 15-minute is very volatile and doesn't decide until the last 5 to 4 minutes. I did some trades at 95 cents per contract, but was very stressful, so enough for today. Yeah, Vishnu, I would agree. If I weren't just testing my bot strategy right now, I'd be much more likely to sit out on these markets for sure. Makes sense. Thanks for the insight. I will test and let you know the 6 minute. Yeah, that would be great. And yeah, I'm up on this strategy for 3 days, over the last 3 days, and I'm even doing decent today, despite the chaos that's going on. So ideally, I would like to have a strategy that I could just program very simply into the bot, like what I've got right now, and not have to do a formula for how volatile the market is and whether to sit in or get in or sit out. I do think I'm going to have to come up with that formula with AI and figure out like how to determine how the bot can determine, okay, this is too volatile. I need to lock myself until this changes. And so I need to figure that out. I would love to do it without doing that because it'd be so much easier. But I have a feeling I'm going to have some kind of lockout formula that it's like, I don't know what it is, but maybe like the past, how many times has it crossed this target line in the last hour? Perhaps would be one. Another one might be, calculate the volatility, how much in the last 2 hours it's gone up and gone down within a 15-minute window, and then find a safe number that you can't enter unless it's bigger than that number. So those are some kind of formulas that I might experiment with, but it's just easier if I can be successful regardless of the condition. So without that formula, but we'll see. Right now, there's no formula in place. It's just a very simple system that so far is working very well, like doing well. So especially the past couple days, I made a couple tweaks and it's doing better. So my app currently tells you what type of market we are in. Oops, so I missed one. You got a new subscriber out of the thank you for taking time to share. I appreciate it. Os? I'll call you Os. How's that? Thank you so much for the sub. I appreciate it. And it's my pleasure. I enjoy doing this. I enjoy building this community of super kind and smart people that want to get better at trading. My app currently tells you what type of market we are in and whether to long, short, or no trade. Well, that's good. This is good information to have. And I would ask you to explain, but since you're building something for profit, I will not ask you any further questions. My advice will continue to be, find the answers on your own. Test your strategies. If you want to come up with a formula, test it. Find out for yourself. You can use AI to help you gather data, but in the end, you've got to do the analysis of what the data is. Very often, AI will come back with data and make an incorrect conclusion from that data. And so you still have to be a partner in that process. We're not at the point where we can totally trust AI chatbot to get it right.
I really should've known. We were dynamite till we hit a red light. Then I see the side. Oh, after all that time, this is it for us. You don't wanna try. Thought your love was real, but it's not for us. Now you can't decide. Oh, after all this time, this is it for us. Porch light flicker on the siding, moths dancing like they know the tune. Porch light flicker on the siding, moths dancing like they know the tune. Every breath feels borrowed, but tonight the world's in tune. Old chair hums beneath me, playing boards keep the time. Old chair hums beneath me, playing boards keep the time. If this sound ain't perfect, that's how it's mine. Someone left the radio humming low next door. Someone left the radio humming low next door. Static sings the harmony. I couldn't ask for more. Let the porch light burn uneven, let the shadows play. Yeah, the porch light burn uneven, keep the night from drifting away. If this ain't heaven, it'll do for today.
Never really know what's going on. Look at me sometimes like all you want to do is run. Hear me out, hear me out. If all the things you never show, there are the things I want to know. Secrets start in your heart so slow. But if you don't wanna tell me now, I guess I'll never know. Losing almost all my energy.
Okay, so according to the current bot protocol, if it gets to 3 minutes, no side has reached 85 cents, we're skipping that market. So, yeah, the bot would automatically sit out this one, which is good. I would not want to be a part of this. So that that programming is pretty solid for right now. Let's see. Let me catch up here. What's up, Carlos? See who else has showed up here. Jersey, how's it going? Good to see you guys. Yeah, I'd be interested, Man City, and if you're interested in sharing the process of creating the bot and how ChatGPT is making decisions or determining whether to go long or short or sit out. I'd definitely be interested in knowing the process. I'm more like a process guy. I don't really just want any tool. I want to know how the tool works. So, but yeah, if you're willing to share that stuff with the community, that's an amazing thing. If you're willing to share it. So, yeah, what do you think about dipping in and out of other crypto coin other than Bitcoin? Do you believe it's worth the risk? It's a great question, Oz. Um, we've talked about doing like a Ethereum Thursday or something like that, and just switching it up. You know, the drawback of the smaller cryptocurrencies is there's less liquidity. Less people are trading it. It's not as popular, so it can be a little harder to get in and get out. That's the main drawback. And they are. I don't really think they're any more or less volatile or dangerous compared to Bitcoin. I think they're about the same. Um, it's just a matter of scaling down your brain. For Ethereum, a $2 difference is huge. Whereas in Bitcoin that might be $50 or 60 or 100. So yeah, I mean it's definitely legit to do it if you're doing small enough contract numbers that you can kind of get in and get out without a problem. The main issue with those is if you scale up your operation and you have like hundreds of contracts, it can be harder to get the right price and get out when you want to and all that stuff. That's the big advantage of Bitcoin is that the market is so liquid. Like I think it's getting up to like averaging 2 million volume per 15 minutes. So it's huge numbers. So that's the main advantage of Bitcoin is that it's very liquid as a Kalshi market. But yeah, I mean, I think I did Sol for a while. It worked fine. Like my strategy works really you could apply this strategy I'm doing to everything on predictive markets. You could do sports, because it's just getting a high probability play, scalping 10 cents, and getting out if it ever gets to 50-50. Like that's your stop loss, is you're just out. You could do that with every predictive market there is. And I find sports to be a little bit more, I don't know, like who knows what's going to happen in sports sometimes, especially with baseball. I feel like baseball is diabolical for this stuff. But yeah, this is really applicable to the smaller cryptocurrencies as well. And I think you can be successful. I know there are people that prefer the smaller ones. Got my first trade in today, turned $4 into 10. I'm going to go chill and try not to mess it up. Well, good job, Jersey. Well done. And, the thing about whatever strategy you come up with, the good thing about Bitcoin market is you can scale pretty high. It's not that big a deal, especially at the end of a market, to be able to sell off 1,000 shares, because that's the only play there is available for the market that remains, and there's thousands of bots trading it. So you can scale up your operation on Bitcoin well. So I think that's the main advantage, and it's more popular for a streamer like me. It's what most people are interested in and most people want to see. But that being said, I do think it would be fun to do like Ethereum Thursday or Sol Saturday or something, whatever, something like that. Occasionally just to mix it up and like give the community a little bit of variety and to be able to test a strategy in a different market and see how it does in a different market. So I'm all for that. I'm really kind of just want to be the host and kind of go with where the community wants to do, So if that becomes appealing to people, I'll throw it out there, and if people want to do it, a lot of times I throw out the smaller markets, and people are like, "No, just do Bitcoin," so I just do Bitcoin, but we'll see as we grow what this morphs into, what this changes into. So the main thing I don't want it to ever evolve into is the chat becoming just people saying up or down or, yeah, follow me for picks or whatever. Like whatever the Kalshi chat, as amusing as it may be, most times not very helpful for learning and growing as a trader. So I do want to keep the chat in here from becoming people guessing and trying to find your guru to tell you what to do. This is true in so many aspects of life. You are your own guru. You have to do the work to be the one that you want to follow yourself. You trust yourself to do what you're doing. You know what I mean? Don't take a shortcut and let somebody else have the power to make decisions for you. It's the easier path, but it doesn't work. Right? It's at the mercy of who are you following? Who are you having guests for you? What I'm presenting is strategies, way to think about the market, like things that have worked for me, and opening the floor for other people to come in and say, actually, this works better for me in these conditions or in this market or whatever. We're here to be a place for people to learn, and even if you're brand new, come in and learn how to do this stuff. Because a year ago, if you would have told me I would be trading predictive markets as my main focus for my for my YouTube channel, I'd be like, no way, dude. There's no way I'm doing that. But I don't know. I've enjoyed this. I've learned a lot. It's a lot of fun, especially now that there's a community to chat with about it, to learn from each other. Yeah, it's a lot more fun this way. I've noticed when the Bitcoin market are swinging high or low, it causes a minor effect on the coins. Yeah, at least at this moment in time, and it's been that way for a while, the smaller coins are absolutely reacting to what Bitcoin does, almost in real time. So, yeah, that's definitely a thing for sure. All right, I'm going to switch over to trading mode. I think I've been talking a lot, so I'm going to focus on my trading here on this one, and I'll see you after it's done.
Only place I can hide. In the morning, I'm wondering how I'm gonna get through the night. Sick and weary, and only your love's gonna make it right. Close the curtain, sweating, shaking all over. Imagine you're here. I'm looking up at the door. I'm a better man with your love than without. Stuck in the seal. May never make it out. In the morning, I'm wondering how I'm gonna get through the night. Sick and weary, only your love's gonna make it right. Yeah, only your love, only your love. Only your love, only your love. Just a little, take me along the way. Won't you visit? Won't you stop by to stay? I'm a better man with your love than without. In the seal, never make it out. And in the morning, I'm wondering how I'm gonna get through the night. I'm sick and weary. Only your love's gonna make it right. Only your love, only your love. 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 Only your love, only your
Can't wait to wake to your love in the morning. This simple thing that we do. Breathe in, breathe out with you. You stop to tell me just one more time before we start the day. Easy with you. Yes, it's so easy with you. Lose track of time as we wander slowly. The afternoon comes and goes.
Okay, so per my current bot protocol, which works very effectively here, if neither side has reached 85 cents by the 3-minute mark, I'm out. I'm not in that market and have no interest in it. So that keeps the bot out of this crazy ending that may or may not happen here at the end of this one. So while we're in kind of chill mode here, I thought I'd share a couple alternative strategies. I already talked about one of them today, but I want to share a couple other ones that I haven't done significant testing on, but I want to share it in case somebody in the community wants to test them out or explore it more with me or share thoughts about them. The one I've already shared today is when it's very volatile like this, up and down, crossing the line multiple times, to buy the low side early, like buy the first side that goes to 40 cents or lower, and try to scalp around 50 cents. So it just has to get back to the line or look like it's going to get back to the target. So that's one strategy that I think has potential, especially when you get this choppy activity where it's like back and forth over the line multiple times, kind of like moving sideways. It could be the buy low sideways strategy, you know. So that's one that is, I think, legitimate and could work very well. The other one is more of a I'm curious about. I don't know how it would work. It's a riskier proposition, but since we already were talking about how all the other smaller coins like Ethereum and Solana and Doge and all those, that they react to the price of Bitcoin. Well, I believe that Kalshi still has the combos for crypto. So I had a thought. I haven't tested it. I don't know if it's a good idea or not, but that let's say when Bitcoin goes to 80 cents on one side, that you buy, you know, maybe you pick 3 of them or 4 of them or 5 of them, but you buy all the small coins at that on the same side. Now, you know, of course, combos, you know, are diabolical in that all it takes is one to lose it all, but it's kind of compelling for me to think about, because it's like, if that's, I mean, I know that's true. I've seen that happen over and over again, that if Bitcoin's up, the altcoins are up as well. If Bitcoin's down, the altcoins are down. Sometimes they move at a different rate, and sometimes you get news that moves the altcoin against Bitcoin. But I think in general, it would be true. And I'd be really curious to run the numbers and test it and see, like, how often do you win, and is it worth it? Like if you buy Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana, let's just say those 3 together. Or, you know, your choice, whatever you want to do, however many you want to do with it. The more you do, the bigger your profits are. But I'd be curious how that would work. It's not something I have tested, but I would be interested to know. What's up, Doc Fizz? What's good? Well, we're just botting it up, just doing some bleep blorp mode over here. Slightly up on the day, even with 1 loss, but I think I'm like 6-1 on the day. Bot has sat out a couple times. Super glad that it did. Like, I would call these conditions kind of iffy, kind of questionable at the moment. It's potential for a lot of volatility and kind of choppy. So you know how those conditions are. You know, pretty rough. So that's where we're at right now. But even under those conditions, my bot is doing decent. Small profit. And if you can do small profits in a kind of a diabolical market, that's fantastic. So, but we're talking other strategies. I'm just kind of sharing some other thoughts of things that might work. And just opening up. We got Country is going to test whether it's better to get in at 6 minutes instead of 7 minutes. So these are great things if the community comes in and like has an idea to test something new. Like, what if we do this? Like, what if you change this about the strategy? You know. Let's see here. Yeah, I hear you on that. Just got off work. I'll probably hit it when I get home. Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this evening. Tends to be a little bit more stable. We'll see, but yeah, day trading on the crypto on these markets and the predictive markets is a little bit more dicey. Just because there's so much volatility and things can change so fast. Because yeah, the bulk of the financial world is online at the moment and making decisions. So I like it when the bulk of the financial market influencers are asleep. That's when I do my best work when everybody's asleep. So I would say probably overall, if I were to look at my strategy in the big picture, late nights and weekends are much more profitable, like in general. Like and those are the times when it's just a little bit quieter, more predictable. There's not major news events influencing the market. It's just like, most people are asleep or out having fun doing something else, So that's when I tend to shine, or this strategy I use tends to shine. But yeah, it's been a great day. Let's see how many likes we have here. It's been a challenge to get people to hit that like. Hey, we got 7 likes. Thank you so much for all the people that have hit like on this stream. It helps, and we're up to 431 subscribers. Every time I check, I'm like, man, that's crazy. Do you think it's a reasonable strategy to trade at a high leverage in the last few seconds near the 95-98% mark? Yes, I do. You'd have to run the numbers to see when your stop loss would be to make that long-term profitable, because your loss, if you do lose, the losses are huge, But yeah, I do think that that's a solid strategy, and I know there's plenty of people doing that. If you've got high leverage, you can make good money. If you can make good money in a short amount of time on a very high probability entry, and as my bankroll gets bigger, I will probably move toward more of that kind of model, where it's like getting in at 95 or higher and just getting out at 99, something like that. A 4-cent move when you've got 10,000 shares is nice. Good work, you know what I mean? Like, and that's how it is with all these financial markets. The more leverage you have, I think you're looking for more and more high probability plays that, like, you can get in and get out and just scrape a little bit, but your little bit that you're scraping is huge, is a nice amount. With anything like that, you just got to figure out the how often it reverses from that position and where your stop loss needs to be to protect yourself from, disaster. So yeah, it's an interesting one. I don't know. I don't know where I put my stop loss. I'd have to do some research and back testing, and that's one thing where AI and creating a trading bot can also go back into take the data off of Coinbase and go back into the history of Bitcoin and basically simulate trading the markets to a certain point. There's only so far you can go back. Kalshi actually goes back, I think, 60 days. And so you can do a 60-day back test, using all the Kalshi data to see if you can, or you can just start the test from now and like just do it on paper or have a bot track it. And before you get in and commit all that capital to it, test it and see if it works. All right, I'm going to trade this market.
But then disappear when the highs get low. I ain't your maybe. Tell me what it is. Cause I'm way too grown to be messing with a love like this. I give you love, but you ration yours. You open up just to close the door. You stay closing doors. I stay up late, trying to read your mind. I can't read your mind. But your love got rules that change all the time. Changing all the time. Why are you always halfway in? Got me drowning when I know I could swim. If you love me, baby, say it with your chest. Yeah, tired of the maybes, I just want the yes. Don't play me like a song on spin. If you ride for me, then ride to the end. Don't wanna love this paper thin. So why you always halfway in? Why you always halfway in? Got me drowning when I know I could swim. If you love me, baby, say it with your chest. Yeah, tired of the maybes, I just want the yes. Don't play me like a song on spin. If you write for me, then write to the end. Don't wanna love this paper thin. So why you always halfway in? Halfway in.
I did it all, I played pretend. I moved the mountains to be your friend. I wanna know if it mattered. I would have gone to war for you. I would have bent the earth in two just to get to our ever after. Something about this has changed. I wanna feel you close again. Don't let go. No, I don't want this to end. Whoa. Remember the start when you're breaking my heart again like blood on a pen. Would it matter then when everything starts to fade? I'm back like it's yesterday. Would it all full send? Would it matter then? Would it matter then? I did it all. I pulled the weight on my shoulders like it was fate. Don't tell me it was for nothing. You told me love wasn't true 'cause it didn't feel real to a cynic like you. But I'm pretty sure we walked into something. Something about this has changed. I wanna feel you close again. Don't let go. No, I don't want this to end. Remember the start when you're breaking my heart again like blood on a pen. Would it matter then when everything starts to fade? I'm back like it's yesterday. I want it all full send. Would it matter then? Would it matter then? Would it matter then? Another time around the block. I loved you around the clock. Break of dawn, might as well be midnight. Talking on the dock. Everyone around us knows. They say we're soulmates and it shows. So I wanna see where this could go. This could go. Break the news to everyone. The long time wait is finally done. I wasn't hanging around for fun. You could be the one. Remember the start when you're breaking my heart again like blood on a pen. Would it matter then when everything starts to fade? I'm back like it's yesterday.
Yeah, so we got a couple gems in the comments right now. Country, that's absolutely. Every time I talk about my strategy with AI, that is what the analogy is pennies in front of a steamroller. You know, you're picking up small wins, and if it does go against you, you're in trouble. You know, you're getting run over. So, and that's the ultimate. Go in big on super high probability at the end. But yeah, it can work if you're very good at it and if you know the conditions that it is safe to do it in. But yeah, as with everything with investing and money in general, the more you have of it, the easier it is to make more of it. Like there's a strategy I used. It was fading the streak, martingale strategy. And like martingale in this market, because it tends to reverse once it hits a resistance point, is a solid strategy. We ran the numbers, figured out all this stuff, and if you have a big enough bankroll, you can basically guarantee that in any given like streak that you're going to eventually win that streak. But you have to have enough of a bankroll to survive the crazy anomaly that runs past what's normal. So, but yeah, same thing with picking up the pennies in front of the steamroller. Instead of the 50 cents that I'm kind of churning right now, it could be $500 every time. It's a matter of scale, and the more you have of it, the easier it is to make more of it. So, yeah, Oz, I don't know if you're willing to be the one who tests it out, but I'd be curious. I don't know where to get in at. Maybe it's like at 80 cents when Bitcoin it's 80 cents. Buy a bunch of the altcoins as well in a combo. Maybe just one contract to start out on each of them, and just see how that works. I'd be really curious to know how that works. It's not something I've tested at all, but there is a part of me that's like, well, that's theoretically seems like a decent, thought about that. So if anybody's willing to test that one out, I think that'd be a great thing to know, how that functions and what the conditions are where it shines, and if there's certain altcoins to avoid in the combo. If there's like, you can do it, but just don't do Doge or don't do whatever it is that is the problem child in the group. So anyway, if anybody wants to try that combo strategy and report to the community how it's going for you, that would be cool. I'd love to know that, because in my mind it makes sense. I just haven't tested it, or back tested it or any of that. So the quality of your content is priceless. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you. And yeah, I think what we're doing here is pretty rare. Most people want to keep their knowledge to themselves so they can benefit from it. Some would say that sharing your secrets is compromising your position in the market. I don't think that way. I think there's plenty of different ways and different strategies and different personalities. Like, there are personalities out there that would hate what I'm doing. And they tell me all the time. They show up and they say, "This is dumb." Like, and I'm like, well, fine. It works for me. But yeah, I think there's lots of ways to do this. And so I don't think there's any point in holding back information. More than anything, I just want a community and share the thoughts I have, open the floor for other people to share their thoughts, and just create a space that's like, we don't have enough of that in our world, where it's like people being honest, no ego, just sharing their thoughts, helping each other get better, and just providing a safe space to ask questions. Like, none of us have all the answers, and we come together, we share thoughts, and we're better as a group. We all boats rise together. So yeah, I think what we're doing here is fairly unique. It's not unheard of, but it's fairly unique in the internet space. And I have gratitude for those who have gratitude. You know what I mean? Like, I'm thankful for you for being here to and feel like you're getting something valuable out of this, of me jabbering, because yeah, I don't know, I don't really toot my own horn that much, but I'm a smart dude. Like, I think about things in depth that most people just glaze over, so I do know I have something worthwhile to share, but I also am not an egomaniac. I don't know everything. I'm open to other ideas, and I think if you think you know all the answers already, there is no place to grow, and you're more than likely fooling yourself. You know, like I'm I'm aware that a year from now I'm going to be a much better trader than I am today because I'm open to other ideas. I'm open to learning something new. Maybe a new tool that I try that I'm like, oh, actually, this makes this way better. You know, like, so I'm appreciative of you being appreciative. If that is making sense to you, it means a lot to me. Hey, man, just joined. What do you think about an upcoming BTC crash? Well, they're talking about, I don't know, whatever the thing, the visibility clause or what, I don't know what they're calling it, whatever they're doing. And that everything depends on the future of Bitcoin depends on that, and et cetera, et cetera. I don't worry about that because I'm not invested in Bitcoin, so it doesn't really affect me. I just trade the movement and within a very small time frame, so it doesn't. I don't really worry too much about that because I don't own Bitcoin. I'm not even doing perpetuals. I've been following crypto for a year and it's just been down the whole time. But I don't own crypto, so it doesn't bother me. I used to own crypto, but then I found predictive markets and I found this to be a lot more enjoyable experience for me. But let's see. But yeah, I mean, it's possible. I mean, we've kind of seen, basically, we're in the middle of, or we're possibly at the end of one crash. We'll see if we can recover from it. But we went from 125 down to, I think we got to in the 50s, 59 or something like that. So, yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of more money moving into predictive markets because I don't know, it's like the new thing and it's the fun new thing to try and people are making money on it. So, and it's doing better than crypto. And perpetuals are a better thing when the market's in a bear market as well. So I see a single digit, so I'm going to get into trading mode. But great questions, everybody. I appreciate how I have gratitude for your gratitude. So thank you so much for being here, sharing the space with me, and sharing ideas with me. How's it been going, Serge? It's been. I mean, I'm doing fine. I'm 6-1, and the bot sat out a couple of them that were dicey. So all in all, pretty good.
Well, I know how you want it to seem, but we'll watch as it all plays out. From the crest of the wave that we broke upon and pulled you back into the sea, all the way down. Why'd it take all our life to explain that it's more beautiful when you're here? I remember the light when it turned around and revealed all the truth, no escape. Point blank. Say
J Bird singing something about the way things used to be. Now I'm dancing on a wire like a cheap paper tiger, strumming on a heartstring stereo to a song that no one knows, and it goes like this. Hey, hey, yeah, said it goes like this. Say la vie, oh, don't ask me, 'cause it goes like this. Yeah. So I pack my bags and I'm on my way. And all my friends are upside down, but I get around okay. Now I'm dancing on a tightrope, oh, like some silly little psycho. Only one way out of this two-lane town, and around we go, and it goes like this. Oh yeah, say it goes like this. Say la vie, oh, don't ask me, 'cause it goes like this. Oh, 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 oh. Say la vie, oh, don't ask me, 'cause it goes like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sun is falling.
Well, according to bot protocol, I got to get out at 2 minutes, so kind of saves me from having to be stressed at the end of this one. I took a small loss, but yeah, if I look at the chart right now and I look at the past hour, I would guess that I was losing bad because it's like pretty diabolical. The most diabolical candle is the plus sign, you know. It goes up, it goes down, and it ends up right back where it started. And for my strategy, that's the candle that's like no good. So we don't actually have that, but pretty pretty close. It's pretty much going sideways and not moving much. And the fact that I'm still managing to be profitable in that condition is pretty great because I would not expect to be so right now. Bot strategy is working for Carlos today. Nice. I messed up the entry but ended up making more profit. Scary. Actually put my limit order to buy at 71 instead of 85. I've done it multiple times. Well, I don't have your experience or expertise, but I've hit multiple times just of going off the Bitcoin market, then looking at the status of the other altcoins. The altcoins. Well, I don't know if you want to if you're into it, if you're down to testing it out, but God, I would love to know if that strategy works, and how well it works. You know, the numbers behind it. Yeah, and what's the best entry price? What does Bitcoin price need to be for all of the altcoins in the combo to hit? Or, again, is there one altcoin to avoid? So we're talking about alternate strategies, and one I'm encouraging other people to explore and try out because Bitcoin tends to influence the altcoins, and you can buy combos. There's a theory in my mind that's like, well, at what point is it safe to get a bunch of them and increase your profit? And how safe is that? How often does one altcoin ruin the whole thing, And just somebody expertising that strategy, I would love to know how it goes, because there's something in my mind that's like, that's legitimate. That could really work. And it sounds like Oz is has had some experience with that working. So let me see what Serge says. Okay, since you are doing this strategy, couldn't you add a time limit, limiting your exiting stress? I'm guessing Serge is talking to Oz about the um, because I already have a stop loss on my strategy. It's just when it gets to the 2 minute mark, I'm out. And that's to avoid the stress at the end and the diabolical price shifts. But I do have a stop loss. It's in place, ready to go. I have it at 20 cents because if it goes below that, I'm just going to hold and see if I get a lottery win. But yeah, I'm not sure if Serge, if you're talking to Oz or myself, but oh, couldn't you add a time limit, limiting your exit stress? Yeah, so I do have a time limit at 2 minutes. Um, and maybe you didn't hear that because you were at work or doing something, but yeah, the the current one I'm using, I can't get in after 3 minutes if I don't already have a position, and even if I have a position, I have to exit at the 2 minute mark, uh, and that just avoids the end of the market chaos. So, but yeah, I wasn't sure if you're talking to me or Oz, because Oz and I are discussing this combo strategy, which is one I've thought about many times in the past, but have not done as of yet. But that's basically the idea, where when Bitcoin gets to a certain price in one direction, most of the altcoins will follow that direction. And you can buy combos on Kalshi. So the theory is, if Bitcoin is safe in one direction, everything else is safe. And so, what happens if you do one contract on four of them? Do a combo with Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, whatever you decide works consistently, and you just you know, increase your returns. And if it works, I'll just be curious. I'm fascinated in that possibility. I was just asking because I do notice when placing orders, you could change the good till canceled to a time exit. Oh yeah, right. But that would just take the order off the board at that. That would take the take profit off the board. It wouldn't execute anything. It would just remove that order from the board, not the position you already own. So you can do that. Yeah, I could do that on my entry at the 3 minute mark. I could say that. Um, but yeah, that is a possibility I could do for the entry. Yeah. Yeah, but no, it's a good. I love that you're thinking like that. You know what I mean? Like, we want to kick the tires and find any advantage we can get. Um, and I appreciate you thinking like that, because that's something I don't normally think about. But that is an option you can do for any entry. Um, is most of the time it's good until canceled, but you can also have a time limit on how long an order, a bid is on the board, um, before it gets taken off automatically. So it's a great point and a great learning point for others to know about that feature in limit orders. So yeah, That's the key piece. Is it doesn't take the existing order off the board. It just takes the bid off. All right, I'm gonna get into trading mode on this one, and let's see if we can get another win in this crazy, crazy market.
After all this time, is this it for us? After all this time, is this it for us? After all this time, is this it for us? Oh, I really should've known. We were dynamite till we hit a red light. Then I see the side. Oh, after all that time, is this it for us? You don't wanna try. God, your love was real, but it's not for us. No, you can't decide. Oh, after all this time, is this it for us? Porch light flicker on the siding, moths dancing like they know the tune. Porch light flicker on the siding, moths dancing like they know the tune. Every breath feels borrowed, but tonight the world's in tune. Old chair hums beneath me, plank boards keep the time. Old chair hums beneath me, plank boards keep the time. If this sound ain't perfect, that's how it's mine. Someone left the radio humming low next door. Someone left the radio humming low next door. Static sings the harmony. I couldn't ask for more. Let the porch light burn uneven. Let the shadows play. Yeah, the porch light burn uneven. Keep the night from drifting away. If this ain't heaven, it'll do for today.
Up. Let's go in here. Here's the buy sell screen, right? We can do good till canceled. That's basically it's going to stay up on your bid or your ask is going to stay on the board until you cancel it. And it'll go all the way to the end of the market if you don't cancel it. So EOD is you set. Let me see here. How do you do this? I don't hardly ever use this, so this is educational for me as well. Expiration 12 a.m. Yeah, it's not really letting me adjust that. But you should be able to adjust the time of when it expires. Immediate or cancel. Basically, if it doesn't get picked up immediately, cancel it right away. And then custom. Okay, this is more. I was thinking end of day. Okay, that's what EOD is. So that's why you can't change that number. End of day. And that's why it's 12 a.m. Here on custom, you can go in and say, okay, take that off the board at this time if it's not already taken, right? So that's where you would do I could program in the 3-minute pull out here, but I'm okay doing it manually. It's no big deal for me right now. But this is an option that if you want to have it expire, like you're going to sleep, like, on a different market, not a 15-minute market, but like a different market, you're going to sleep. You want to see if you can get in at a better price than it is currently. So you make the bid, go to sleep, but you don't want it to be still active once the game starts or once the thing gets rolling. So you would set an expiration, either end of day or pick a custom time that you want it to be pulled off. If you haven't gotten your price by then, time to remove it. So yeah, so those are some options in limit orders that can be used to customize what you're doing and make it more automatic. The only thing we're missing here, Kalshi, is stop loss. Can we get the stop loss here somewhere? Be great. Thank you. Thank you, Kalshi. That'll be a day of celebration when I see the stop loss show up in the predictive markets. Not happened so far, but we can still keep talking about it and hoping that someday somebody from Kalshi tunes in and is like, oh, hey, this Kalshi influencer, he wants a stop loss real bad. Maybe someday. Probably not when I have 430 followers, but maybe when I have 430,000 followers, they might be like, we should probably add that, don't you think? Give us a darn stop loss, for God's sake. So yeah, a little bit of movement now. That market right there is a good example of a stress-free one for my strategy. Big movement away, running out of time, like unlikely to move that far back. Golden, love it. That's. And by the way, to that person that was talking about picking up the pennies in front of the steamroller, I don't know if they're still here, but if you're getting in at 95, 96 with a big chunk of money, I would want to have a real healthy distance away from the target before I put big money on anything in that position. So if I were doing that, there'd have to be a nice spread. I have to be fairly confident there's not enough time to get back. Yeah, that would be my caveat to that strategy. Either way, the strategy's been doing great in the ugly conditions. Yeah, isn't that great? That's exactly what you want to see, And yeah, it's been pretty diabolical, rough conditions, but the bot's still, I think, 7-1 now. Profitable on the day. Not big profits, but again, it's just a scaling thing. I'm just doing 5 contracts. So my if at the end of the day I'm up $5, that's good. That's a big, based on the size of my entries, that's a big win day. So this all scales up, I'm just in testing mode, and we're having a really good result in bad conditions. So we're loving that. Yeah, for sure. That is a real good sign. So when we get more stable conditions of everything, like that, this market we're in right this second, or we just finished, uh, it does really well. Like no stress, no doubt, never a moment where you're like clenching your, you know, it's just pretty easy. And most of the time, there's been a couple markets that were too close to call, and currently the bot is performing well in those. It's staying out of those markets, so that's good as well. There may be some slight additional tweaks needed, but I think we're pretty close to like the the format to program. So we'll stick with it for the whole week and see if it continues to do well throughout the week. But very promising start. First 3 days of using it, it's been pretty reliable, and I'm glad we're able to do it in bot form. So it's it can be codified. It can be put into code. So well, it's wonderful. We have 16 people in the room right now. It's been very consistently high attendance here today. 9 likes on the stream. Thank you to all of you who are hitting that like button. It's a nice thing. I do this 6 to 8 hours a day, so just that small thing of pressing the like, maybe spamming some emojis occasionally, leaving some comments. All those things are amazing. But you know what? You just being here is amazing. All that other stuff is just bonus if you do it. But I really appreciate you being here, hanging out with me. The numbers are blowing me away every day. I check them. 433. I got to change the screen to say 433. Oh, see, we just went to 12 likes. Thank you very much. So let me change the screen. 433 now. We're moving close to the 500 mark. And we get to do some different things now if we get to 500. We already have reached the required watch hours for 500. And now we just need 67 more people to say, hey, this is valuable, worthwhile stuff. I want to be a part of this. And we'll get some new privileges, some new abilities as a streamer. So I'm looking forward to that milestone. And we are going to have a big celebration at 1,000 subscribers because that allows me to get in the YouTube partner program. And what we're going to do is I'm going to pick 4 people. Each person gets 2 hours, and I'm going to trade for them for 2 hours. They're guaranteed to get $10 from me. So if I don't reach the $10 amount, they still get $10. But if I exceed that, I Venmo or PayPal them the full amount that I made in that 2-hour window. And, I'll let the person decide how aggressive do you want me to be, like, and they're kind of my right hand person for trading during those 2 hours because it's their potential money. So we'll have fun with that. I've already got a couple people who I've told you're definitely on the list of who's going to be traded for, but I want to keep it open, and I want to just find a way to thank the people that are making this possible, are giving me this fun opportunity to create a community around predictive markets and learning and growing together. So those are things to look forward to. The 500 could happen in a day or two, and when the 1,000 hits, we're gonna have a celebration. So thank you for all the subs, all the likes. Love you guys. Time for trading.
up at the door. I'm a better man with your love than without. Stuck in the cell, I may never make it out. In the morning, I'm wondering how I'm gonna get through the night. Sick and weary, only your love gonna make it right. Yeah, only your love, only your love. Only your love, only your love. Just a little, take me along the way. Won't you visit? Won't you stop by to stay? I'm a better man with your love than without. In the cell, I may
Yep, bleep blorp for the win. I think 8-1 on the day. Fairly profitable. Some dicey moments, but the bot did a pretty good job of staying out of real dicey situations. And yeah, pretty stress free as a trading strategy to just have very strict moments you have to get in and out, and there's not much thinking involved. What time do you normally go live? So Oz, I go live twice a day, 2 different windows. The afternoon session happens somewhere between noon and 4 p.m. Pacific time. And the evening session happens from 8 p.m. to midnight. I don't necessarily go that whole time, and I may actually end this one. I think 3:30 is when I'm going to call this one for the afternoon. I've got some projects to take care of on the homestead here, so I'm going to go do that. But yeah, usually twice a day. In total, 6 to 8 hours, something. It's basically I'm on the clock for usually somewhere between 4 and 8, but most days, 6 to 8. So that's the schedule of streaming, and it's it's fun. We have a lot of folks that show up on the daily, check in. Some folks stay for the whole thing, and I appreciate those people. They're keeping this this ship moving forward, and the numbers are amazing. Every time I wake up and check the numbers, I'm like, dang, this is going fast. And the first 1,000 subscribers are the hardest. It's just like nobody knows who you are. You're trying to establish something. So the fact that we're already to 433 is amazing. Oh, I see. I wonder what happened to Surge. Got emotional, had to reset. Yep. Yeah, when that happens, that's a good skill to have as well. You're making bad decisions, and there's energy that doesn't need to be there for your trading strategy. Good idea to take a break, walk away, reevaluate, ground yourself. And yeah, this craziness goes on 24 hours a day. So, and sometimes taking a break is the best thing you can do. If I was trading, now I would have missed out on some profits, but if I was trading just by myself, not doing a stream, I would have probably just earlier today said, yeah, I'm going to take a break. I'm not going to do this for a while. I'm glad I did, because I need to test this bot in bad conditions or challenging conditions. So I'm glad I did. I always enjoy hanging out, chatting with everybody, but yeah, sometimes it's just best to take a break and walk away. As a security guard, I should know better not to get emotional at a damn chart. Right. Right. Yeah, that's right. I'm wondering, do you have a story, Serge, of like a really crazy moment as a security guard? Like anything that's like, you would not believe what I had to deal with. I imagine there's got to be some moments where it's like, really? I got to do this? Like, what the hell? All right, so we're going to do 2 more markets. I'll wrap this one up at 3:30 today. And again, I'll be back around 8 o'clock tonight for another session. And do it all again. I'll be in bleep blorp mode and answering questions and meeting new people and building a community. So you're always welcome whenever it works in your schedule to hang out with us. We'd love to have you do so. And by the way, we do have captains of 2 different teams. We've got the engagement captain. That's Serge. If you want to be part of that team, which is just focused on encouraging people to like and comment and spam emojis and just kind of being focused on that for the stream. You can apply to Surge, and I'm sure he'd love to have some additional members on his engagement team. And then if you're really focused on reminding the streamer when he needs to lock in and get his focus in the right place for trading, you can contact Carlos. Carlos will be happy to have some support in reminding me when I need to lock in. So eventually there will be, I think, a moment in the stream where I'm talking and I should be trading, and the chat should just be like just littered with lock in, like just a cacophony of locked in statements, like. But those are the two captains of the teams right now. I am looking for another captain to help me when people show up and they ask up or down, or what do you think on this market, or I think it should be up. I think it's up this time. We want to discourage that in our comments section, and just gently remind people to please read the screen, and that we're not about making individual picks on individual markets here. We're about sharing strategies, and if the person wants to share the strategy that got them to the place of making that pick, we'd love to hear that. But we don't want our comment section to be littered with the Kalshi chat, kind of stuff that's just like everybody's saying what they think is going to happen and no one giving any reason why they think it's going to happen. Occasionally you do have somebody coming in and sharing some solid information that's good, but it's pretty rare. And we don't want our comment section to turn into that. So what is wrong? He said. Hello? I don't know. What is wrong? Nothing, I think. I'm not sure what Serge is referring to with that. One thing to keep in mind is that I'm jabbering and looking at the screen and doing like 5 things at once, multitasking. So sometimes you'll say something that's a response to something I said, and I don't remember what it is. I don't know when you say what is wrong, I'm not sure what you're referring to. But all right, let me go into lock-in mode. And if anybody wants to join we've got 3 teams right now. I call it we've got the lock-in team headed by Carlos. We got the engagement team headed by Serge. And we've got the no pick enforcers team, position available. So I'll do that stuff. I try to have it on the screen so it doesn't happen as often, but the bigger we get, the more that's going to happen. And, I just want to stay on top of it. And if I have some help doing that, that would be wonderful. So. It says the message before that says message retracted. So I don't have anything before that. I just have a few, then message retracted, and what is wrong. Yeah, I didn't retract anything. So if that happened, that was not my doing. Oh, did my cat get a mouse? My cat is definitely a mouser. I have no rodents on my property because of my beautiful cat. That explains a lot. The story must have been that bad. Oh, yeah. Okay. Lock in. Good job.
Tired of the maybes, I just want the yes. Don't play me like a song on the spin. If you ride for me, then ride to the end. Don't wanna love this paper thin. So why you always halfway in? Why you always halfway in? Got me drowning when I know I could swim. If you love me, baby, say it with your chest. Yeah, tired of the maybes, I just want the yes. Don't play me like a song on the spin. If you ride for me, then ride to the end. Don't wanna love this paper thin. So why you always halfway
Dang, that is crazy, man. People are crazy. I worked in the service industry for many years, and yeah, we all, everybody who worked in the service industry was like always, people are crazy, man. People are so crazy. And we always had stories of somebody doing some crazy stuff or just being obnoxious or whatever, like, how's it going, guys? Javius, good, man. Welcome. Had to do the stop loss there, and it happened so fast that it kind of like confused me what had happened. That's the good thing about a bot is it can do all this in milliseconds. So I wouldn't have lost as much in bot trading mode, but as a human being, having to press buttons and the screen refreshes, you got to enter the number and all that stuff. It takes like 5 seconds to do it, whereas the bot would do it all instantaneously. So that was definitely a gut punch, kind of a rough one. I was kind of hoping I wouldn't get into that one, but at 4 minutes, it did cross the 85 line, so I had to get in according to bot protocol. So, we'll take a loss. It happens. No big deal. Takes me slightly down for the day. That was a big loss, and it was mostly because of the slowness of the execution. I just couldn't get my brain wrapped around what was happening. It happened so fast. So, yeah, this is that. Remember that plus sign I talked about, the diabolical plus sign. If you look at the chart right now, I'm looking pretty much like we got a plus sign coming. Like, it goes up, it goes down, it ends up right in the place where it started. Absolutely diabolical for my trading strategy. The guy lied to police and said he got pepper sprayed. Even the officer said he showed no signs and didn't even smell it on him. Esther, I'm not sure. Are you asking us to switch over to Ethereum now? It's kind of a bold ask of a group, but yeah, we consider doing. We're considering doing an Ethereum day on Thursdays, but we're pretty focused on Bitcoin at this moment. But yeah, if you show up and just ask us to completely change our thing, what we're doing, yeah, maybe just hang out and get to know people a little bit more before making a demand to have us completely change what we're doing. So, all right, this is the last market of the afternoon, and then I'm going to take a break. I'll be back around 8 p.m. Pacific time for the evening session. And yeah, thanks for those who are joining me. We got 19 folks in the room right now, so that's really good for an afternoon session. And but yeah, we're happy to try Ethereum. Become part of our community, and we'll go maybe do Ethereum Thursdays or something like that. So, but yeah, yeah. So that last one was a rough one, but again, I'm just in testing mode for my bot. So we know these conditions right now are diabolical for my strategy in general. So yeah, the fact that it's kind of break even ish for this session is not a bad sign. And I probably need to do a formula for this bot that just calculates in volatility or crossing the line, and just sits out markets like this, or the last one, excuse me, and a few of them today. We got a few like plus signs, and basically when there's no body to the candle, yeah, it ended up right where it started, and it was a rough one for me. So. Undefeated on Doge. Really? Yeah. Oh, I forgot. Yeah, he has never lost on Doge. So he's the expert on Doge. Bring all your questions about investing in the 15-minute Doge market to our expert, our resident expert, Serge. He knows everything. He's undefeated on Doge. So, You're not supposed to tell what the record is. You're just undefeated, bro. Like, uh, and you hang out with us, you get inside jokes like that. So that and VWAP, good old VWAP. All right, so oh man, all right, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go into trading mode and wrap this session up. Hopefully, get one win before we wrap up this session to finish it off strong. And yeah, I'll be back once I'm out of this market.
Take a cue from those who know what they've been here before to guide through to find the truth. And when it all feels like it's closing in at distance, strength and love can play as a form of resistance. Take a cue from those who know they've been here before to guide you through to find the truth.
Anyway, baby, just name the time. When I'ma come through, can you get me cruising under moonlight? Top down, playing new sounds while the wind blows over it. Checking my maps, heading a stack, keep it intact. Do me a favor, girl. Can you keep it warm for me, keep it on for me like a shower? I needed to run for me, hold it down till I'm pulling up. I finally made it, girl. And I'm at the door, see you walking up to me, and you got something that's showing what's underneath. Still, you expect me to make it do pleasantries, baby, I'm yours. Love what you got on, but I want it all for you. We can play a song while I'm holding on to you. Rubbing in the hallway, no use for all the rules. So what you wanna do? And she told me, she said it's all for you. I did it all for you, baby, it's all for you. No, no, no. She said it's all for you. I did it all for you. Baby, it's all for you. No, no, no. We could catch a vibe here on this trip. I'm in your soul, you're on my head. I want you at my fingertips all night, all night. Love what you got on, but I want it all for you. We can play a song while I'm holding on to you. Rubbing in the hallway, no use for all the rules. So what you wanna do? And she told me, she said it's all for you. I did it all for you. Baby, it's all for you. No, no, no.
take all our life to explain that it's more beautiful when you're here. I remember the light when it turned around and revealed all the truth, no escape. Point blank. Say it like it is this time for me to hear. Suddenly, you felt all alone again. Even in crowded rooms with all your friends. Where goes the time? All in front of you. Where goes the time? Still in front of you. Say it like it is this time for me to hear. Suddenly, you felt all alone again. Even in crowded rooms, all around friends. Say it, it's unbreakable through it all and more. Don't fret now, I'm not leaving you alone. Won't leave you now or through later days. One, two, three, four.
Well, I chipped my tooth on a tangerine, and the jaybird singing something about the way things used to be. Now I'm dancing on a wire like a cheap paper tiger, strumming on a heartstring stereo to a song that no one knows, and it goes like this. Hey, hey, yeah, said it goes like this. Say la vie, oh, don't ask me, 'cause it goes like this. Yeah.
All right, yeah, good looking out, Miguel. The CF benchmarks number, if it doesn't get kind of refreshed every like 3 or 4 hours, it will go like frozen. So good looking out. I was able to refresh that and get that moving again. So we finished with a win here today. A big session for the channel. 14 likes on the stream. 437 subscribers now. Doing great. And, we proved that even in really, really bad conditions, I would call this very challenging for my strategy. We still broke even on this session. It wasn't a moneymaker, but we didn't lose on this. So there are still some tweaks that may be able to be done on the bot strategy that we're working on. But it's a good sign that it kind of didn't lose money in these conditions. So that's a good step forward today. And I did want to say, this would be, I think, ideal conditions for buying the low side at 40. Anytime you see these plus sign candles and like very small candles, and not much moving away from the strike, I think that's really better conditions for like getting in at 35, 40, selling at 60 to 50, somewhere in there. Or even just holding to the end, and getting enough of those that you cover the times it doesn't finish on the other side. So anyway, that's a strategy that I think is a little bit less risky, a little bit more likely of being profitable in these particular conditions. But we'll hope that we get a little bit more stable this evening. I'll be back at 8 o'clock Pacific time, somewhere around there. And we'll go till somewhere around 11 or midnight, something like that. Thank you so much, guys, for finally up. All right, Carlos, good. Wonderful. Miguel made $20. Nice. So we had some good stuff going on today despite the challenging conditions. Wonderful to hear. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for helping me grow this community. It's a lot of fun. I'm having a blast. I will see you tonight around the 8 p.m. Pacific mark. Have a great day.